Hey everyone, this is Coach Goldberg with the Masters University Men's Volleyball. Today we're going to be walking you through a little bit of our offensive system, specifically how we typically run a 31 from our middle, and kind of how that opens things up. I'm going to walk you through it, break down some plays from one of our matches this past spring, and teach you a little bit about what we're looking for in terms of setter decisions. Make sure to subscribe and comment down below if you have any questions. So here I picked out a bunch of clips. All of them are good or perfect passes. And so we're going to see what our system, our offensive system looks like when we want to pass the ball where we're aiming. And so in general, I'm going to pause the ball in the setter's hands. In general, we have our middle running a 31 or gap. A lot of the times, depending on where their blockers are, this is going to be in between the blockers. We have our outside running a go ball, an in-system outside tempo. We have our back row outside running a bick down the middle. And then we have our back row right side running a D ball, or if they're front row, they would run what we call a red. And so the idea here is that the setter is going to read where the middle blocker is. Here's the middle blocker. Here's the left side blocker. Here's the right side blocker. We're going to read where that blocker is. If that blocker is starting to step over and getting in front of our middle blocker, we want to either set the bick or the right side. If that middle blocker is going to stay in the middle and not really cheat over, we want to overload that right side blocker and either run a 31 or a go. And so you can see this here. We end up, I believe we set the go ball here, or I'm sorry, we set the bick here. And that middle blocker is ending up diving in late and he's unable to close. Once again, on this ball, you can see that their middle blocker steps in front of ours. They're fronting. If this is the case, our one-on-one opportunity either comes from setting the bick down the middle, right here, this number 8, he's taking an approach, or setting the right side to number 11. He should be one-on-one as well. And in this case, he decides to set the one-on-one to the right side and is able to tool the block and score. Once again, good pass. You guys can see the opposing middle blocker is going to be fronting our middle. Okay, he's stepping over in front. We would like to either set either the bick coming down the middle or the right side here for either a one-on-one or a one-on-none. And you can see here in the decision he made, he set the right side again. The right side made the error, but we had a good killable ball in that situation. Once again, that opposing middle blocker is getting in front of our middle. He ends up commit blocking. That means he's in the air when our setter is setting. He's jumping with our middle blocker. Therefore, we want to be able to set either the right side, which would be a one-on-one, or the bick, which ends up being coming right behind the setter, and this should have nobody up here. And so he made a good decision and set the bick, nobody up, and he was able to score in this situation. Next ball coming through, again, we're in system. I paused it a little bit late, but you can see here, their opposing middle blockers fronting. We would prefer to set either the bick down the middle to number 8, or the D ball to number 3 on the right side. You can see both of these balls here and here. He ends up making the wrong decision and setting the go ball to the outside. And you can see it ends up working out and takes a good big rip. But that was not the right decision in terms of overloading that blocker. You can see here, and again, I paused a little bit late. This 31 go, especially with a front row attacker, 31 go, can start to open up the dump here from the middle. And so ideally, we are putting so much pressure on this left side of the court, kind of in this area, that it's going to open up the rest of the court. And so now you have this one blocker right here, that it's his job to defend both the dump right here, the bick, and the D ball, right? We want to create scenarios that we're overloading certain athletes and creating opportunities. And so that Bick was able, or that dump was able to throw straight down because there was no blocker in front. Once again, perfect pass. You can see their opposing middle decides to stay in front to our middle coming on the one ball. I think on this situation, our middle was attempting to run a back one, which would be right behind the setter. But that pass ended up getting pushed a little bit more to zone 2. But regardless, their middle stayed in front. We were able to isolate the other side and get a one-on-one opportunity to their outside, to our outside right here. And he's able to take a good swing. So again, we're looking for the opportunity, the execution here. We ended up getting blocked, but it was the right decision by the setter, and we created an opportunity. Here's another example. Their middle blocker decides to stay and read instead of getting in front. If he was over here, that would be a front. So he stays in read. We would like in this situation to either set the 31 kind of right here or the go ball to the outside and put a lot of pressure on this right side blocker. That would be the goal in this situation. Unfortunately, we make the wrong decision. We end up setting right side and we get set into a double block. Okay, so that's what we're not trying to do in these in-system situations. Setter just made a wrong decision, although it was a killable set. He made an error just because he didn't have the openings that we're looking for our setter to create a little bit more. Once again, our setter's coming on the back one. The isolation would be flipped more to the outside. We'd like to set the outside. We get a little bit late hand in there. That middle made a good quick move, but was unable to really catch it. Again, same situation. We have a go, a 31, a Bick, and a D ball, right? That middle, opposing middle, is starting to front our middle. We'd like to set either the Bick or the D ball. I think we make the wrong choice here and end up setting the go or the 31. Let's see it right here. We set a 31 here, okay? Luckily, that ball was fast enough that the opposing middle blocker really thought that it was a go ball and wasn't really able to get up and slow that ball down. Again, tough scenario here. Ideally, with that opposing middle blocker fronting, right? We got kind of the left half of the court here blocked pretty well. We would like to either run a Bick or a red. In this situation, even though it was a good pass, based on where that pass is coming from, which is over on the right side of the court, this setter has a really hard time setting back over his head to the right side. And so he has to kind of choose between running this 31 and running the go ball. There's also a certain sense, and I'll start playing these through a little bit faster here. At this point, number 5 on our team, the outside was really heating up. And so there is kind of the sense of reading the opposing blocker, but also setting the hot hitter. You can see once again here, that middle made the right move to kind of front and get in front of both our middle number 10 and number 5. And we set number 5 anyway. He was the hot hand and he was scoring. Once again, perfect pass, go 31. We decided to set the go because he was a hot hand. He got a full 4 hands in front of him, but he was scoring regardless. Here's a great situation here where we set the right side. That 31 and go is a little covered. The Bick would have been a great option as well. The right side's one-on-one. We're able to put that ball away. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more of an idea of kind of what we're looking for out of our setters and the decision-making process that they should be going through. The other point I think it's important to make is sometimes at a very high level, you see setters start to turn and look at their blocker to see where they are. A lot more times you can be listening for things or seeing motion or even no motion out of the peripherals if you're a setter. And so if you're there right at target and you see the setter in your peripheral or the opposing middle blocker in your peripheral, that might mean that they're fronting because they're a little bit farther ahead. But if you don't see them, they're either with you or behind you, and that can give you a little bit more information as well. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Make sure to subscribe and comment below if you have any questions.